Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you, class? I hope you are well today. We're going to begin our lecture for our chapter 1, which is Introduction to Business Process Management. I'm using Dumas slide from our textbook. For chapter 1, we are using Dumas slide, so you can refer chapter 1 from our textbook from Dumas, and there's my name. Let's begin. So we're going to learn about BPM for the whole semester for this code ISP 531. So what is BPM all about? What are you going to learn throughout the course? So basically, we're going to learn about a discipline of modeling, analyzing, automating, and monitoring business process. So you've learned about modeling before in previous classes, such as IS development. If I'm not mistaken, on ICT 450. And then you learn modeling again using course like ICT 501, if I'm not mistaken. We learn about modeling using data flow diagram. So that is another perspective. But BPM, Business Process Management, is another perspective that we want to see by looking at the business processes. So I have learned that I hope you understand what is processes mean. What is business processes? Okay, so since we are from business computing, right, I hope you understand that we are focusing on the business processes. So what is business processes in organization? So we're going to learn that throughout the semester. So basically, this is a course that teaches the discipline to modeling, analyzing, automating, and monitoring. So you must have that kind of knowledge and skill to help you develop or model or analyze or automating and monitoring business process. Okay, so another another courses that will relate into our field is actually enterprise system integration, business analysis and software product management, dan juga and of course data mining and business data analytics. Business data analytics will going to be your elective code in the future. Okay, so I hope you have this basic understanding about what we're going to learn throughout the semester. Okay, the question is, we begin with any curiosity with what, why, how, basically that. Okay, so what is a business process? So I've asked you earlier, what is business process? Have you heard about it? Have you used it? Have you engaged with it? Of course, you already engage it throughout your life. Since you're born, you must be registered. Registered dalam JPN ni, Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara, to recognize you as a citizen. So registration is a business process. You want to discharge from the hospital when you were born. Lepas your parents give birth to you, everything's okay, healthy, then you have to discharge from the hospital, right? So is it a business process? Yes, it is a business process. So we have been dealing business process since at the very earliest age. And then we're dealing in a daily life. We deal as a client. Yeah? Contohnya nak post surat, you pergi ke pejabat pos, you ambil nombor, you tunggu, pergi ke kaunter berurusan, kan? And then you hantar, you serahkan dokumen untuk pos laju hantar. You boleh track number tracking. So that is actually business process. Cuma daripada sudut pandangan kamu sebagai klien, kamu sebagai pengguna. Tetapi dalam proses ini, dalam kelas ini, I want to expose you that in the future, you're going to be the one who develop the system for an organization. You're going to be the person at the back, helping an organization develop dia punya business process. Alright, I hope you understand that at least. Yeah. Okay, we move on. So I've given you the picture, the quick picture later on, just earlier on. Yeah. So now we're gonna look at the example prepared for us. Yeah. So here's an organization, a business basically is an organization. So dalam in an organization, we have a lot of processes. These processes meant to do things. These processes has its purpose. Setiap proses ni ada dia punya purpose dia. Each of these processes has its activity. Each of these processes have its activities and tasks to be completed. Okay, so what are those? Probably they are preparing for shipment. They start unloading the truck. Maybe dia mau raw material baru sampai, they unload the truck. And then dia nak hantar barang, load the truck. And then what? Package product package, issue invoice, issue delivery receipt. So everything here are some sort of processes. It could be a lot. Okay, but for business purposes, you cannot just, these processes are not meant for isolation. They are not work in a bubble. Dia mesti ada relationship dia. Dia mesti ada pre and post dia. Dia mesti ada rantaian dia. Dia mesti ada certain of what we call it chain. Rantaian process. Why an organization must have a proper business process. A more systematic. Sebab lagi systematic menjadikan bisnes lagi efektif. Bila sistem lebih efektif, organisation boleh buat bisnes dengan pantas. Kan? Bila dia pantas, dia boleh deliver banyak perkara, they gain more profit. So basically that is from the business point of view. So we have a lot of processes, but they cannot work in isolation. They must work in a proper systematic change of processes. Chain, rantaian. Okay, we continue. So, for example, here is where are we right now? For example, if looking at the picture, it's a restaurant, right? Why? Because we can see a lot of dining tables. We can see lots of chairs, dining chairs. We can see plates on the tables. We can see a waiter. So it's definitely from what we see, the atmosphere that we see is actually a restaurant. Can you imagine how can you run a restaurant? Well, dealing with business process here, business termasuklah restoran ke, organisation yang bagi servis ke, anything that to do with business. Okay, so here example. Can you think of what are the process involved in a restaurant? Business for a restaurant? Let's think for a while. Kan? You all mesti suka makan kat luar kan? So basically, the first thing that we have is actually, bila kita masuk kedai, when we enter the restaurant, they bring us the menu. Kan? These are the examples of processes. They start taking your orders. The waitress that take your meals, that are waiter that clean up the table, the cleaner, okay, sweep the mop, sweep the floor. There will be somebody working at the counter, right? That is what we see from the front. But at the back, we have the kitchen, yeah, the chef, the cook, and there's a lot of activities, tasks that comprises in the processes that involve in the business. Okay, banyak kan? So let's see. Proceed. So basically, business processes, there must be an institution, an organization. Mesti kena ada organization, mesti ada institution. Paling-paling tak pun enterprise tu mesti kena register dalam SSM contohnya. Okay? Ataupun any institution, academic ke, service ke, manufacturing ke, any types of organization. In an organization, there will be a lot of functions. An organization, they must categorize according to its functions. Sebab apa? Setiap fungsi tu, setiap function tu ada dia punya purpose dia, ada dia punya tujuan dia, ada dia punya proses yang involved, ada dia punya aktiviti dan orang-orang dia. Sebab kalau kita tak susun organisation ikut functionality, kemungkinan kerja menjadi tidak teratur, tidak sistematik dan tidak cekap. So for example, organization here we have categorized according to its functions, and they've given several functions like function A, function B, and function C. You can think of right now any organization and try to think according to its functions. Paling mudahlah UiTM. Apa pembahagian fungsi dia? Dia mesti ada pembahagian fungsi dia. Sebab apa? Kecekapan, kepantasan, ketepatan membuat kerja. That is the reason behind segregation of functions, business function. So, in order to understand business process, I've said the word business function. So you must be able to relate between what is business function and what is business process. All right. So in any organization, they are not only have that as an entity, they have another types of entity that we call it as assets and partners. Okay, assets is things that we own that tak susut nilai lah, like buildings is an asset, like savings. So basically it falls under financial. Human resource maksudnya skill worker, knowledge worker, expertise, it's masuk bawah human resource. Okay, your strategic partners, so it's considered assets and partners. Okay, and then we have customers at the end, bahagian kanan ni. So most of the time we are the customer. We become the clients of the organization that receives the service or the product from the organization. So we have the assets and partners. We have the customers. Okay, along the way from asset to customers, dia ada banyak business processes. Okay, based on its business functions. So bayangkanlah the complexity and the complicatednya. Complexity and complicatednya. So you kena faham apa beza complexity dan complicated. Okay, this is another term that you need to look at. Nanti saya akan bagi quizzes based on what I ask you along the way of the lecture. Okay, so fokus kita adalah pada business function dalam organisation. So kita pergi, we proceed to the next slide. We'll see. All of these business processes that comprises in the business function must be systematic, must be organized. It must be organized, must it must be in a systematic manner, must be clear, must be described, able to describe well. Ada dia punya susunan dan evidence dia. For example, susunan dalam file. Ada kerana yang in charge bahagian yang, contohnya bahagian package, ada orang-orang dia. Bahagian load ada orang-orang dia. So, who's and who's inside the business process also kita kena tahu. So, for example here, one example of business process that cross daripada asset and partners tadi tu, business process sampailah ke penghujungnya. Contohnya purchase order received. So diterima dokumen purchase order has an input. And then organisation akan check and confirm the purchase order. And then package the product. Ini semua business process Load truck, masukkan barang-barang yang telah di-package tadi tu dalam truck, and then start notify for delivery. Dah nak hantar dah ni. Contohlah bayangkanlah lori gardenia kan. Macam mana lori gardenia beroperasi. And then issue invoice, for example lah tadi tu saya sebut. And then match payment, maksudnya daripada apa yang dia minta dengan apa yang dibayar tu adalah apa yang dipenuhi. It's a contract actually. This is a contract. So, based on the service, kita nak sekian-sekian barang, kita kena bayar sekian according to the contracts. So, sampailah dia terima payment tersebut. Okay. So, saya harap at this point, kamu boleh imagine what is our focus for the course. Alright. Saya continue I shall continue. And then ini when PO is issued, this is another example of a business process. Ini baru example. It's just two example. In organization, there's a lot of business processes, and they need to be identified, described, organized. Train staff to do it the correct way, the right way, documented, and reported, and so on and so forth. Bayangkanlah satu organisasi mesti kenal pasti semua business process yang dia ada. Alright, we go back to the restaurant. The example earlier we have. So, what are the business processes that a restaurant can have? Okay, so when the customer arrive, they greet and take a seat. Then the waiter bring the order and take the order, and bring the menu, serve the meal, present bill, issue invoice, and customer paid. All right. Next. And that is from the front. The back end, kita ada kitchen. Here are example of what happened in the kitchen. What are the process involved? So this is one process. For example here, this is one process. One process. This is another process. So inside this process, we have a lot of activities. So you must be clear the meaning of it. All right. Okay, we go next. So by definition, a business process is a chain of event. Rantaian event. A chain of events, activities, and decision. So this is a basic, simple definition. But it also involved a number of actors and objects. Objects could be a machine, like example, a menu is an object. A menu, buku menu dalam restoran tu is an object. Bill is an object. triggered by a need. So these are example of a full definition of business process. Ni kena ingatlah ni Triggered by a need, mesti kena ada keperluan, sebab when kita buka business restaurant, then definitely there's a need to serve the meal and pay the meal. Alright, there's a need to do that. And leading to an outcome that is of value to a customer. Now this is the hardest. This is the purpose of doing it. These are the purpose of doing everything, leading to an outcome that is of value. What does it mean? Oh, I like the restaurant. I keep coming to the restaurant. That restaurant is my favorite restaurant. That is value. Something that you like. Oh, I like using pos laju. Why? Because pos laju is very efficient. Very efficient, very effective, very fast. And it's very cheap. That is values. Why people keep coming? Not because it's too tasty, probably, but maybe they give values to the customers. Customers really appreciate it. Then that is a successful business for an organization. So these are inilah dianya the meaning of business process. So you have to remember this. Okay, so what are the business process? For example, order to cash, procure to pay. Procure ni perolehan lah, kita perolehan to pay. Application to approval. It's just another example. These are all examples. Fault to resolution. Nak maintenance faults. Error and everything. Here's a situation, a scenario. My washing machine doesn't work. Okay, so this is under faults to resolution processes. So the customer will get very angry because they cannot use their washing machine anymore. Why? Because of the faults. Okay, and then customer will easily get mad. They call the center, the washing machine center. For example, a brand. And they call the brand call center. Right? And then they forward them to the service dispatch department center. Okay, call center is just the front receiver. Then they bring pengadu tu mengikut aduannya kepada tempat yang dia sepatutnya hantar lah. So they went to service dispatch center and then refer pada technician. Technician is an actor. And then tengok apa yang parts yang perlu diganti. Atau jika tak boleh diganti, dia refer dan tengok kepada whether parts itu ada insurans ke tidak. And then tengok sama ada customer tu happy or not happy. Okay, dengan servis tersebut. Okay, so kalau negative outcome, fault not repair. Positive outcome, dia ada value adding. Fault repaired immediately with minor intervention. Okay, then of course dia ada warranty. Then it makes the customer really happy. Contohnya, bila dia jadi happy sebab bila dia ada values. Bila dia tak sampai value tu, dia tak happy. Customer usually not very happy. Okay, now it's your turn. Think of an organization and think of processes that may involve in the organization. List it down. List it down and think of what it is, who's involved, what value does this process deliver to its customer, who's involved. At least list out 3 outcomes of the processes. Okay, I think this is very simple exercise for today. All right. Okay, we'll proceed to the next section. This is our second part. What is business process management and why should I care about it? Yeah? Why should I care about it? Proceed. Yeah? Why? Because basically, when we have the value behind the business, the values that you give to the customers, that will keep. I hope you. I'll give you the slide later on, ya, sebab I think my picture would mengganggu you punya view, So basically ada competitor kat bawah tu, because of in an industry, organisation dia mesti ada dia punya context of industry. In any industry, there's a lot of competitors. Bukan you saja yang buat business. A lot of other people also doing the business as well. So those are your competitors. So daripada gambar ni ada daripada competitor ni ada arrow pergi ke customer, There will be arrow that to go towards the customer. So other organization, other restaurants could always take your customers. Those organizations yang ada highest loyal customers is actually going to be the leader in the industry. Okay. So why? Because you other competitors. Another factors are, these are external factors. This is what we call as external factors. Satu lagi kita ada di bahagian atas iaitu business environment. Dalam business environment, kita ada competitors. But not only that, we also have economy. And rules and regulatory. Regulatory ni undang-undang lah. Akta perniagaan, akta undang-undang, akta kebersihan. Macam-macam jenis akta. And of course, the working culture. The culture that dominates based on demographic yang kita berada ni lah, based on the location, geographic yang kita ada ni. So based on this, ada lagi tu. Hence, nak menjadikan sesuatu business process to run, it's not enough. It's not enough just to make the business run. The business must create value. How to create value is actually by performance planning and performance management. Then you can sustain. You boleh kekal dalam industri, dalam perniagaan for a long run. Why? Because you have the value. Once you become the value, you have the value, you punya customer will become one of your stakeholders. So that's why business process management is very, very important. So I hope this will give a good perspective dalam knowledge kamu, dalam pengetahuan kamu ni, that this course is important. Why? Because you're going to be the one who helps the organization develop one of the automation or system that create values to the organization. All right. Next, we'll proceed. Then, because of that, we have process performance tadi tu, processes planning tadi tu. Why? If you had to choose between two services, would you typically choose the one that is? Kalau kita pilih antara dua organisasi, definitely ada 3 kriteria sekurang-kurangnya kita akan pilih. Bila kita nak buat perbandingan antara dua organisasi. Apa dia? Basically, we're going to look at which restaurants are going to serve faster and which one is more competitive in the forms of price. Okay? And which one is more tastier to the liking of your taste bud. Mana satu lagi yang you rasa sedap. Which is one is better. So kita akan pergi at least these 3 factors. Which one is faster, which one is cheaper, which one is better. And so on. Cheaper could be a lot of other reasons. For example, you don't have to add cost for traveling just to get the service. You don't have to. Which one has better service? I like this organization better because they speak well. They treat the client well. They engage with the client. So that could be very subjective as well. But then organization kena invest benda tu. Yeah. Alright. That is basically the why we have to. So now business process need to improvise. Business process tu kena improve. Kalau tak improve, then they won't create values. Okay. So how are you going to do? When customers arrive, you greet. You greet them. Okay, selamat datang ke scan. Then they bring the customer to the seat. And then take orders in a polite way, with a smile. Eyes engage with the customer's eyes, and so on and so forth. All right. Okay. So another factor that you would improve you could improve the service is actually having outsourced to customers. You give standardized menu. Ada menu harian yang you rasa you boleh attract more customers with less discount, with more discount. And then probably eliminate cooking, sebab kalau cooking ni lama. Or maybe you start automating, and then you probably self-service, eliminate waiters and so on and so forth. Nak pula PKP berlaku. A lot of people offer banyak delivery process. So how your company gonna up to that demand? This is all the improvement that they need to do. Alright, saya berhenti setakat sini dulu untuk part 1. We have another half of the slide. I stop here now.